They called him charming, they called him refined, a man of impeccable manners and tailored suits. But behind John George Haigh's polished smile lurked a darkness so grotesque, even the devil Mutaf shuddered. This is the story of a man who believed that if there was no body, there could be no crime. A man who turned sulfuric acid into a weapon of silent erasure. The acid bath murderer, born in Stamford, Lincolnshire, in 1909. John George Haigh grew up in a strict and deeply religious household. His father, a member of a fanatical sect, warned John of the mark of the beast. A birthmark, he claimed, would appear if John ever sinned. But John had no such mark. And from this, he drew a chilling conclusion. He was beyond consequence. A chore boy, a scholarship student, a tinkerer with mechanics and music. Haigh was no fool. He was brilliant, but brilliance can rot if left unchecked. After a brief marriage and petty frauds, prison became a familiar place. But it wasn't until his third stint behind bars that Haigh had a revelation. A deadly one. In prison, Haigh stumbled upon legal loopholes. One line repeated in his mind like a hymn: no body, no crime. It became a doctrine he would live and kill by. He studied chemistry, he experimented with field mice. He watched their tiny bodies dissolve in acid, leaving behind nothing but sludge. And in that sludge, Haigh saw freedom. He believed he had found the perfect formula for murder. And now, he needed a victim. The year was 1944. World War II ravaged Europe. But in the quiet corners of London, John George Haigh was plotting his own war. He targeted William McSwan, a wealthy acquaintance who once employed him. Under the pretense of a business meeting, Haigh lured McSwan into his basement workshop. With swift brutality, he crushed his skull and placed the body in a steel drum filled with acid. Days later, the body was gone. Not a bone, not a tooth, just dark sludge washed down a drain. And so it began. With McSwan gone, Haigh assumed his identity, forged documents, and pocketed his assets. But it wasn't enough. Greed is a hunger that cannot be satisfied. Next were McSwan's parents. Elderly, trusting, harmless, he killed them both, one after another, dissolved them just as he had their son. And again, by 1947, John George Haigh was living the high life luxury hotels, fine dining, champagne, and charm. But beneath the expensive suits was a man unraveling. Over the next 2 years, Haigh murdered at least 3 more people. Wealthy women and businessmen. He always followed the same ritual. Lure, kill, dissolve, steal. He offered false business deals, spoke of lucrative partnerships. He wore the perfect mask, the courteous, well-dressed gentleman. But when the lights went low and the doors locked behind him, the monster emerged. He believed himself untouchable. But monsters often forget. Shadows leave stains. In 1949, Haigh made a fatal mistake. He killed Mrs. Olive Durandikin, a wealthy widow, after inviting her to his workshop under the guise of showing her an invention. But this time, the disappearance raised eyebrows. Friends reported her missing. Police investigated, and for the first time, the charming facade began to crack. Inside his workshop, police found Haigh's diary, bloodstains, personal items belonging to the victims, and most damning, sludge containing human gallstones and a partial denture. Proof that the acid hadn't destroyed everything. Confronted with the evidence, John George Haigh confessed. Calmly, proudly, almost gleefully, he admitted to killing 9 people, though only 6 could be confirmed. But what shocked even seasoned detectives was how Haigh spoke. He didn't regret the killings. He regretted not perfecting the acid technique. He didn't flinch describing the sound of flesh dissolving. He only frowned when asked about missed opportunities to steal more. The courtroom was stunned. The nation horrified. Psychiatrists debated his sanity, but the jury took only minutes to decide. Guilty, no mercy. John George Haigh was hanged at Wandsworth Prison on August 10, 1949. In the end, the man who believed he could erase his crimes with acid left behind a legacy of horror. His confession wasn't just an admission, it was a boast, a chilling tale from a man who wore humanity like a mask, and discarded it like bones in a barrel. John George Haigh didn't just kill for money, he killed for belief. The belief that he was smarter, cleaner, untouchable. But even the darkest sludge can't hide the truth forever. No body, no crime. But a soul always leaves its stain.